Hey there, welcome back. So today I just want to talk about the three short stories that have been released since Battlegrounds. The first being from Molly's point of view, The Good People. This is probably my favorite of the three short stories just because it's has an element that I think might be expanding where the story is going as a whole. The reason for this is Molly is delivering presents, acting as the Winter Lady to primarily children, but everyone who has been victimized by the Battle of Chicago. This is the one time of year on Christmas when winter is allowed to be merciful, because as we have seen, the Winter Courts, the Winter Banner, all of it is very violent. It is not nurturing, it is not protective, it does not offer you shelter. So Christmas is the one exception. She's delivering presents to the children, games and books and toys and lots of books. And she's also giving clothing and stuff to keep them warm and safe, and food, as their homes may have been destroyed. People may have been orphaned. They might have lost loved ones. And it is very kind. She is being just kind to her people of Chicago. Gets into a little bit of a rivalry race with Kringle, but all cute in the end. Now, what I think this is doing for the story narrative, the main series as a whole, is the presence that she is delivering is titled From the Wizard of Chicago. So I'm interpreting this as people are really going to start believing in Harry more. They already probably knew of him as the crazy guy who says he's a wizard acting in the Yellow Pages. So now they're like, there is a legit wizard in Chicago. There's only one in the Yellow Pages, and after what they've witnessed, even if a lot of people are like hallucinating, that couldn't have actually happened, terrorist attack, some kind of gas, I'm still hallucinating, there are going to be a lot of people who believe in Harry, believe in magic. And as we know throughout the series, this leads to an increase in power. We are now going to go to the second short story that is featured by Toot Toot. Little things. First of all, I absolutely adore Toot Toot, so I am very, very, very biased for my enjoyment of this story because I really just love Toot Toot. Our favorite little pixie, small wee folk fairy guy, he is a member of Harry's Guard and Major General, being adorable, defending the pizza, the home's attacked, he has to defend it, acting with Mister. And here is my little clue on why I think that the belief in the people is powering Harry. Bob the Skull is no longer really in his skull as much as he used to be. He's like in the castle as a whole, and he's being described as a blue light. The last time we had reference to him with like the blue eyes was Evil Bob, when he was working for, what's his name? I'm going to pronounce it wrong, so I'm not going to say it right now. But I interpret that as he was very powerful in that moment. A lot of dark magic, connected to the wizard he was working for, and just overall a lot stronger than the Bob later after he locked away that memory. But what if it wasn't just a signal of, hey, Bob is evil when his eyes are blue? What if this is like the next level, Bob being powerful? So if Bob got more powerful, could it be because Harry got more powerful? Or did he just learn more from the Titan and Demon Reach and everything else as well? Regardless, I think this might not just be reference to Evil Bob. I think it's just a reference to an increase in strength. Overall, Toot Toot's story, still very adorable. This one takes place after the Battle of Chicago, like the last one did. It also includes William, or Billy, if some people still remember him, or him by that name. I appreciate that he's William now. And Harry is hurting. Toot Toot is having a struggle understanding and how to cope with this, as his people don't really understand the concept of death too much. So he's trying to figure out what to say, what to do to comfort Harry after everything that happened. I'm going to avoid as many spoilers as I possibly can. And then you know how Harry reacts to trauma and loss, and it's going to be withdrawing into himself. So he really needs the people around him to care for him and support him. So I'm very happy both Toot Toot and William are acting as that. They're not leaving him alone. And you also see that he has taken on the responsibility of keeping the people safe. So anyone who needed a place to stay after the trauma in the Battle of Chicago, Harry has opened up the castle. They're staying in the guest rooms. They're feeding them. I think it says like 30 to 40 people are eating in his kitchen every day, depending. So they're like not rationing, but figuring out food. And then there's a crisis where they can't get pizza delivered. And obviously the Zagard's very upset and very concerned about this. It's just a really good story, and I am really looking forward to seeing how the castle and its occupants play going forward in the series. Now, the last one has been The Law. This one was released most recently, and it is getting a few mixed reviews as it's not really progressing the story, which is very, very fair. I also agree with the complaints of Harry being very traumatized since the events of Battlegrounds, very sad, but he's not really acting on those emotions. He's bottling them down, saying, I'll deal with it later. And honestly, that seems like a really Harry response. It seems like, okay, I am hurting, but there are people who need my help. So I'm going to deal with this trauma later when I have time privately. I will put aside a couple hours in the morning or at night, and I will grieve, and I will be a wreck. And then the rest of the day, I have to take care of the people who need me. I appreciate that so much. So it kind of makes sense to me that we're not exploring his grief yet, that we're saving all that for the time we can in the upcoming books. Harry is just acting as a regular PI in this book or in this short story, and it's nice to see him get back to his roots. It's nice to see him take on someone that he can't just punch and use his power to overcome. Could just kill him, but obviously he's not willing to do that. It is really nice to see all the other characters who come up in this short story, specifically Marcone. I was terrified a little bit after the events of Battlegrounds of how they were going to deal with his character moving forward, what his place in the series will be, and I'm quite happy with the mutual respect and understanding that they continue to have going forward, and I'm just happy we didn't take another step up in terms of more enemies. I'm happy with where it seems like we might be going with them not really working together, but understanding and respecting each other. Again, I'm trying not to go into any spoilers. It's also a very short story. There's a little bit of a regression in terms of some of the language used by Bob, and then, of course, the client that they've taken on isn't Jim Butcher's best work in terms of female characters, but I had nothing against it at all. It went very well, in my opinion. I had the biggest laugh. I just bursted out laughing for how the conflict was resolved, just because it's, hey, I got an idea. Let me just call in this extremely powerful character to take care of this situation. And when they show up, be like, technically, this is your problem. And it's just like, seriously, this is why you called me? Really? And so overall, nothing. I have one more thing to say about The Law. There's also a moment where we're also exploring the other people that are believing in Harry. So his Knights of the Bean, and you better know what that means. I am very excited to see how in the series moving forward, just random people that do remember and believe the events of Chicago, who fought with Harry, interact with him going forward. I'm very excited to see how when governmental officials who must know what happened have to interact with Harry. I swear to God, if Harry doesn't have to debrief the president or some kind of agent, some mortal agency who's just like, okay, we're aware that magic is a thing. You're aware. You're going to have to tell me what the hell's going on and whether or not I should trust you. And Harry's just going to be like, I just blew off the Council of Wizards. Do you really think I'm scared of you? In which case I can see the themes of this book coming back into play, where it's just like, just because you've done a lot of powerful things, you are not all powerful, and you can still get pushed around. There are people stronger than you, and there are things that your power can't help you with. Overall, I enjoyed all three of these stories. Whether or not someone feels that they're not advancing the plot and whether or not they're skippable, My only thought is you've never like stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning reading fan fiction one shots that do nothing to progress any story or have any consequence, and it's just so nice being with this character and just immersed in this short little story. It doesn't need to explore anything. You're just there with their personality and seeing how the world around them is affected. And I love that. I love little one shots. It's great. So I have, since reading these 3 little short stories, my love for the Dresden Files never went away, but it has renewed even more. About the graphic novels. I wasn't going to because they're very expensive. This one's at a print, so I had to pay a lot of money to get it. It's worth it. It's so worth it. I haven't read them yet, but the artwork is absolutely beautiful. This is the second volume of the collection set, basically. So these are new stories with the artwork in it is just very nice. That was my bookmark that just fell out. I'm working on it. And this is the first volume. It includes Welcome to the Jungle, which is like the prequel, I'm pretty sure. It does have a short story, I'm 99% sure of, that I did read. And then after that, it is just a graphic novel version of Stormfront and Full Moon, and I'm so excited. I also have one more note. I need them to continue making the Dresden Files in graphic novel versions because I need to see the Winter Unicorn official artwork. So someone get these graphic novels back on the go so I can see official artwork of that unicorn. It's terrifying and I need it. All right, this concludes my little update on where I am in the Dresden Files right now. Forever love it. 5 stars across the board of my totally not being objective self. Totally obsessed with the Dresden Files. If I were to be objective, I can't be objective. The lowest I'll give any short story is probably about 4 stars, unless it does something to really piss me off, and none of these did any of that. I just love these characters so much. I love their personalities. I love this world. I am in love with the Dresden Files as a whole. I cannot wait for the next book. I will talk to you later. Bye.